Welcome back to the Brew Crew podcast, everyone. This is episode 289. I almost got that wrong in my head. I was thinking 286 for some reason. 289. And we're separate, but still going to be a great episode. It's going to be a lot of fluctuations the next couple of weeks. But you know what? We're still going to give you excellent content.
I wish you wouldn't set us up by disaster because it could suck, but you just said it's going to be good.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Puts a lot
This
of pressure on
podcast
me.
never sucks. This podcast is always excellent. Don't worry about it.
Don't forget about it.
Forget about it. Yeah, we got a lot going on. I mean, it's the end of July, but it seems like it's just the throes of summer. We're at the peak of the bell curve. We got the Summer Olympics going on. Got the trade deadline in baseball, and there's tons of beer happenings going on. Ugh.
Yes.
Have you seen any of the Olympics? Have you been watching?
Yes. As much as I can watch, it's always on where I am. Yesterday, I was on the road for over 12 hours, so I wasn't able to watch it then. I have watched TV before when I was driving, but there's people that listen, so I never watch TV while I'm driving. But yesterday, I legitimately didn't, but every destination that I stopped along the way, being at work, the things I've been most excited about, watching the men's 4x1 and 4x1 freestyle has been fantastic. Been able to watch a lot of volleyball. This is the week I prefer of the Olympics. Track and field, there's something that's lost for me. I like swimming. I like gymnastics. Beach volleyball goes the whole time. Those are probably my power three rankings, what I want to watch for these Summer Olympics.
I always look forward to watching new things that I'm not 100% sure how the rules work. So I watched a little bit of fencing yesterday. I watched some rugby, which I learned a lot about. I mean, I already have watched rugby, but this time I paid attention really hard. Yeah, a couple other sports.
Americans took their first gold ever in fencing.
In men's? I didn't watch the men's one. The women, it was U.S. versus U.S. It's crazy.
I believe it was men's first gold ever.
Probably.
In fencing, I believe.
And then handball. I don't understand handball. It looks like it's a sport invented by a bunch of drunk dudes. I don't know why cornhole isn't an Olympic sport if fucking handball is an Olympic sport.
That's inertia. That's like because it's always been. But I have beef, and I've gotten feedback. But I have beef that this is gonna please and unplease the same number of people that France was able to change up some of the sports. So that's why in Tokyo there was baseball because Japan is a baseball crazed society. There's no baseball because France says there's no draw for it and they wouldn't be able to have tickets. So some of it is by the tickets that will be taken care of by the host nation. But my turn to that is, where is surfing? So they're doing surfing in this Olympics. Did you know that, JT?
I did.
Do you know where they're doing surfing? Yeah.
They're in, I'm guessing, like Normandy?
Tahiti. They're not even in France. They're 10,000 miles away in Tahiti.
Oh my God. I was wondering where the heck they were.
So get out of here. You can play your sport somewhere else. You're don't tell me, oh no, you're surfing the other side of the globe.
Yeah, come on, that's ridiculous. I was wondering where they were surfing at. That's
Tahiti, dumb. Normandy. Come on.
Well, next year, our next Olympics is LA.
Yeah.
So there should be good surfing there. I would guess they'll probably go to Hawaii though, if they're already willing to go other places. But we need to add cornhole. We need to add cornhole. Everyone needs to make a push. Add cornhole to the Olympics. It's a way better sport, more interesting, more appealing, and we could all do it.
That's 2 episodes in a row we've talked about cornhole. Do it. Say it.
What's the stone one in the Winter Olympics?
Curling.
It's the curling of the Summer Olympics, I think. Cornhole.
Interesting.
And it's excellent to watch. It's just so much fun to watch. And I'm sure pickleball will make its way in.
I think curling is a U.S. only sport.
At this point.
Sorry, not curling. Cornhole.
The other countries will figure out how to play. Come on.
Yeah,
it's a party game. And then let's add a beer
Olympics. It's going to take a while.
Let's do beer Olympics, then regular Olympics, then Paralympics.
Oh, they have the what do they call it? The Spartacus Olympics, were the ones where you can be altered. You can be on steroids.
Oh, you can be on steroids.
Yeah, they allow it.
Okay. That's cool. Let's do that too. Let's throw them all together on Peacock this summer.
On Peacock, yeah. Peacock's, everyone's looking for content. It's crazy the amount of movies.
Well, yeah, we don't need movies. You got the Olympics.
I'm thirsty, JT. We need to get to this first beer.
Let's do it.
I know you've been drinking. I didn't bring a bunch of pre-gamers with me.
That's all right.
So I've been sitting here. Wow, I wish I could do this. Out shout to my daughter. She bought me a koozie. It's pink. I have a shirt that matches this specifically. I almost wore it for the podcast. This is a bottle koozie. So it's thin. I can't put a can in it. Maybe I can, but I don't want to. It's obviously a bottle, and it's got the rubberized bottom.
That's awesome.
Always in the market for koozie. And again, I got the faded pink shirt that will match that perfectly. I'm going to wear that next week when I'm on vacation. All right, first beer is from Land Grant. Land Grant's out of Columbus, Ohio. This is Beer Garden IPA. I'm just going to throw my can right at the, and this is a 6.8% IPA that has peach gummies, pineapple, and tangerine.
That's right. I concur. It's loaded, primed.
Ready?
Perfectly. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Lesson learned, especially since I threw my beer at the because I knew it was going to be mixed up.
Wow.
I bought this one specifically because I was just looking for a ho-hum IPA. I'm not saying that I was looking just for something that I hadn't had and wasn't just going to be like a shock to the system. So I didn't know the ingredients till I was doing the pregame, writing down my notes and everything. And had I known it was peach gummies, pineapple, and tangerine, I probably wouldn't have bought it. So,
oh really?
Sometimes you gotta, but yeah, it's just none of those. I mean, none of those are like wow me as beer ingredients.
Okay, well, I've fallen for the gummy IPA before. I don't remember the exact name of it, but there was it Pipeworks or something? Gosh, I wish I could remember. I'll look up the name of it.
450 had that peach ring one.
Yeah, peach ring. Yeah, I remember that. There was another gummy one that just wasn't gummy at all. That was just the name, and I remember we were like really disappointed in it.
That's something we should talk about, and we've danced around it before. But gummies. THC for all the mole people are dominating drinks now. Barrel House has a THC line. I'm in Minnesota right now. In Minnesota, you go to it, THC is dominating. Like it's way more prevalent now. And somebody that's still in the military, I have to watch that stuff because none of that stuff is going to be any closer to being legal anytime in my career. But they try to do a good job of displaying where it is. But I almost carried some stuff out of a liquor store up here that had THC in it. And the lady at the cash register goes, "Oh, this is one of our THC products." I was like, "I just have to leave this here."
Yeah.
Like I'm interested in the gimmick. I really am because some of the flavor profiles or whatever. But it's a hard stop, no go for me. But have you noticed it? Because in Ohio it's legal too. Have you noticed it more and more prevalent?
Stuff. Yeah, lots of THC stuff. I've noticed it. There's just too much, and I also can't have it. But even if I could, I don't think I'm really that into it. But I don't understand. I do understand it's political, but I think it will happen in our lifetimes that it's all just fine and legal because alcohol is like so much worse. I mean, DUIs will ruin your career, but they still allow you to drink in the military. They still allow you could drink alcohol and literally divulge secrets because you're just so drunk that you don't know what you're saying, but they still let you do it. But they use that as the excuse for weed and THC and all that stuff is that, it would inhibit your judgment and things like that. I don't know about that. I'm not buying it.
Like driving through
Illinois, not buying it.
Driving through Illinois yesterday, I saw all the billboards that they're like almost like the Brian Urlacher of billboards now. Like A little high is too high to drive or something like that. It just says like if you're a little bit, under the influence or whatever, you shouldn't be driving. So they're trying to get that message out there. Sorry, Stacy, because they browbeat us with being intoxicated. So, now we have to incorporate it all. There's just too much money there, just do it appropriately and, get your cut or however it's going to, happen and then go from there.
There's so much money there, and it would benefit any state to legalize it because the money's there.
I don't get any peach ring on this.
Yeah, peach gummies. I do get a fruitiness, a juicy fruitiness.
I'm excited for beer number 2.
Yeah.
After this one because I'm going to be thirsty again still. You know what I get is the peel.
Okay.
I get the appeal of this beer if you like acrid, like bitter, because this has got a high bitter like quotient to it. I think that peach gummy could do a lot more work of being sweeter, being like the cutting through that bitterness, but it doesn't. Yeah. Maybe there's one peach ring in every 10,000 gallons of beer. I'm trying to still follow the Columbus brewing situation where there's the brewery and the restaurant. God, what brewery is that? Help me out. It's one of the big North High. I don't think it's North High. So, anyways, but where they're two different arms of the same brewing family and they're suing each other.
What? So I didn't know that.
Now if you go to the we talked about it like 2 months ago. So you go to the restaurant, they don't sell any of the product that's on the front of because they're in a dispute with the brewery.
Nice.
They sell everyone else's products, but there also is a potential Hank's replacement, JT.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a breakfast brunch restaurant in St. Anne's Hill, so just 2 doors down from Fifth Street Brew Pub. It's called the Ugly Duckling, and a few of the Barrel House individuals have outshouted it, but they specialize in gigantic breakfast burritos.
Ooh.
As I'm going to do the hand motions, and and they have a fantastic tap list. So the Ugly Duckling, I'm going to have to go there soon.
Well, that sounds awesome. I love breakfast burritos. Those are S-tier breakfasts.
S-tier, yeah. Anything wrapped up in a tortilla.
I love breakfast burritos. I'll have to check that out. Are they currently open?
They are. They just had their opening in that new location. They've been elsewhere, but it's a much more conducive. They were on Springfield Street before, but this is going to be St. Anne's Hill right on 5th Street. And they just had their opening in the new location this last weekend past.
I wish I would have known because we went and saw Deadpool yesterday, and we went to a morning show and we had breakfast before. We went to Hasty Tasty, which if you follow that road, Linden, all the way to downtown, you can get to 5th Street, just taking Linden straight down. So you got Hasty Tasty, you can go to that new place. It's like one shot, one turn, just turn left.
Yeah, one turn.
Yeah, so wish I would have known because we would have went there instead. Anyway, Deadpool was great.
Did you like? We're not going to do spoilers. We're not going to do spoilers.
No.
Did you like all the cameos? Did you find them satisfying? That's going to be the talk for the next.
Yeah.
For everything. For everything that could have been with those cameos. That's all I'm just going to say.
Yeah, I loved them all. I thought they were all great. I thought there was a few they could have done more with.
Yeah.
And there were some that were done just right.
And that's the thing with Ryan Reynolds. He will always take less money to make stuff done right. Mm-hmm. During the writer's strikes of previous time, he's taken a cut. And the tough thing is he's a writer on a lot of this stuff. So he has to cut himself.
Yeah.
But he's always like taking money out of his own hide to support his entire staff and to make sure that they get taken care of, especially on his creative baby, which is Deadpool. I know last week we were talking about Hot Ones. Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds Hot Ones it's not Conan level because nothing will ever
No.
be that level, but it's right below. It's right there with Paul Rudd and all like the charmers, if you will,
Yeah, it's
of the
there with
Marvel
Paul Rudd.
universe.
The Gordon Ramsay one's up there with Conan. He was the original Conan O'Brien of Hot Ones. That was really good, the Gordon Ramsay one.
The other, like you brought up comic book, the other big news is they revealed that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Doctor Doom, which is going to be mind blowing. And now that you have Deadpool in there to break the fourth wall, will Deadpool ever be in a smash up, with in the next, Avengers movie or something like that, and then say something to the effect of, "Weren't you the good guy?" I just can't wait. Like,
Yeah.
And that's not a spoiler alert. That was revealed at Comic-Con when he demasked himself. So that's crazy. And like Robert Downey Jr., I think is like in the not fuck you money, but fuck me money, where he did all the Marvel movies. He left and he said, I'm done with Marvel movies. Went and got an Academy Award within 5 years. And then now it's like, you know what? Now I'm just going to come back and make stupid money.
Yeah.
I bet 20 million and 5% of the downside. I bet he's getting 5% of the downside.
And but do they do it good? Is it a good movie? Is it a good character? Do they, Marvel hasn't really been, they've been struggling. I think this multiverse has been tough. I don't know.
They had to pause and redo things because of with Ant-Man Quantumania and who's the actor that was beating his girlfriend? So Chris, they had to recast the big baddie. The next Thanos was going to be. They had to recast him, but not Jonathan Majors. They had to recast him. Like he was all over the next phase. He was going to be He was going to be the Thanos for the next couple of phases, and now they have to complete. So I'm wondering if they are pivoting to Doctor Doom because he's that level of bad guy, and they have the Avengers coming out. So and now they control the X-Men. They're slowing down. They were just pumping out too much. I think they're going to retard some of the projects that they're doing and take a much more measured approach. I still have hope. They're all good cinema.
Yeah, it's all good. That's all we want is to be entertained.
It's all good.
It's all good. Nothing to worry about. Don't even worry about it.
Forget about it.
All right. This beer, I don't taste the peach. I think the name is a good name for this beer because when I go to a beer garden, this is the type of beer I expect to have. Although most beer gardens will have like 200 different beers. The picture is like spot on. It's kind of our bonus segment we could call. We'll just start that. And every beer garden is the same for me. I feel like I'm going to walk into this majestic garden of just like beer, and there's going to be coolers, and you just pick one up, maybe have like all those unlimited taps and stuff. But it's always just outdoor tables. That's it. Picnic tables, they're outdoors. And that's it. I mean, it's always so disappointing because the name is so promising, beer garden. And then you get there and it's just like, picnic tables, heat, a broken umbrella, and your closest friends. That's good. That's always the good part.
The only beer garden that I can think of in the Dayton area is Trolley Stop. They do a good job of like they have hops growing and stuff like that. But I mean, it's picnic tables plus, tables, and they serve you and there's food and it's four walls. Sorry, Stacy. But the hops give it ambiance a little bit, but it's a nice. But again, as JT said, there's got to be a perfect temperature. It can't be too hot, can't be too cold. You got to be comfortable. You don't want to be sweating out there.
Right. Perfect beer garden. In LaGrange, Illinois, Palmer's Place. If it's still there, I hope it's still there. Great burgers. They have a beer garden, 250 beer choices. Excellent. I don't know how many of them are IPAs, but I feel like every time I go to a beer garden and there's that many choices, a huge majority of them, probably 75%, are all just hops. Hops or beers that my dad would drink, Random foreign beers. Just a lot of garbage, and then there's some gems in there. If you really want like good craft beer, I don't think a beer garden's the place to go. I think, places like Barrel House or King's Table, places that have tons of taps. If you're going to a
Yeah.
beer garden, typically it's tons of cans and bottles. They're pulling from a cooler or a walk-in refrigerator. Whereas I'd just go to a beer bar, like King's Table. That's where you'll get higher quality craft beer. The beer gardens are going to be more like IPAs, stouts, porters, pilsners, shitloads of standards, and that's how they fill out that menu, really.
Yesterday, I went to a new tap room in Eau Claire. It's the biggest self-pour tap room, they say, in the Midwest. I don't know. That seems like, but 72 self-pouring stations. And we got there. It's called the Phoenix Tap Room in Eau Claire. It was the second weekend they were open, so all the chairs hadn't been like compacted yet, so it was like super plush or bougie. But I will say everything was great. The staff was great. You know, everything was fresh. All the self pours that we used were really good. None of them like poured too much head, or you're not paying for fizz. But for 72, and they had a couple THC lines, but for 72, I was very underwhelmed by the selection. There was a couple of bangers, but for 72, I'm expecting 20 bangers.
You gotta have a lot of bangers in there.
Less than 10 bangers.
Are we too experienced on craft beer now that bangers to us, our expectations are way higher? Like if this was 2018 and we walked into that same place, would we just feel like we'd have more to drink?
We would be overwhelmed.
Okay.
But this time I was underwhelmed. But there was other people that don't drink like just sours or that will drink. So I feel like we had a good cross section, and everyone, without like suffering or like doing groupthink, was beating around the same bush.
Yeah. Okay. There's a sweet spot for IPAs where you're like right now in my life, if I go into a place like that and it's just like West Coast, New England, standard, I'm just like, this is fucking boring, dude. Like, get something cool here. Like, I don't care what cool name you have on it. I don't care what awesome hops you have. Just like, come on, like, let's try something different. Maybe give me an IPA with some pizzazz on it, you know, put some glitter in that shit.
I did see some Urban Artifact at a couple watering holes up here. Obviously in the can, not on draft, but it was Gadget. So again, the cross section between the two is awesome to see. Like Urban Artifact, that was the only big Ohio beer that I saw in a couple beer coolers.
Wow. Ryan Guest hasn't proliferated more?
Not this far north. In the southern part of the state, down by Milwaukee, Madison, because their second brewing location is in that area. You'll see it all over the place. That's why I'll be at that store next week. It's cheaper for a 6-pack of Truth. It's $8.99 in Wisconsin.
Oh wow!
And it's $9.99 at the brewery. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy. All right. Well, I don't taste the peach. I think if the pineapple is coming through with like juiciness, not as a pineapple flavor, but more as juiciness. And yeah, I think the tangerine is probably the most prevalent. There's a little bit of the rind in there. I think there actually might be a little bit of tangerine juice in this beer. Very light. It's almost like the amount of flavor that's not hops would be the equivalent to what you taste in like a LaCroix seltzer. It's just like subtle. You're not going to get much of it. The majority of the flavor is nothing. Whereas in this, the majority of the flavor is hops. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit. You have to be looking for it. Of fruit flavor, mostly tangerine. I would expect the pineapple to give it a little bit more viscosity or a little thickness. It doesn't do that. It's very liquidy, liquacious. Is that a word? I know it's a word. Liquacious. I don't know if it means what I want it to mean. No peach gummies, no gummies at all. I would expect gummies to be sweet and chewy. How do you put chewy into this beer? Amp up the pineapple probably to get that thicker mouthfeel, and then put some peach in there. I mean, there's no peach in here at all, even if it's fake peach. Fake peach sucks. But the hops are the star. Not enough to be a West Coast. Definitely kind of your standard IPA level of hops. Not dry. that's one huge plus. But this beer is ultimately forgettable in its averageness. This is a 3.25. 3.25. Land grant.
My
garden.
my palate is as dry as it is hot outside right now. It is just. I don't know if that was the condition that I brought into this or whatever, but I was drinking water all day. The last thing I get is like the peel of the tangerine. I don't get any pineapple. I don't get any peach gummy. It's not bad. It just hits me in a different place where I'm at, I guess, in my hydration cycle today. It's going to be very forgettable. I'm going to forget about this beer in 2 weeks. Off the top rope, I give this a 3.0.
I've already forgotten about it. Sorry, land grant, but
and a 6.8. It tastes like it could be bigger.
Gosh, if you put more pineapple in this beer, imagine how absolutely excellent it would be.
I'm with you. I'm fine drinking more pineapple juice.
Yeah, let's bring it on. Put it in the beer.
Speaking of juice,
but not this next one. Hopefully.
Speaking of juice, I'm glad I didn't start off with this one because I subscribe in life to the vegetable theory. On a plate of food that I always grew up with, it would be meat, potatoes, and a vegetable. I would always eat the vegetable first and save the meat and potatoes. This is going to be the meat and potatoes. 450 North.
Last flavor in your mouth is the one you want to last. That's
Dino
why you
Juice.
Eat steak last.
Oh yeah.
Dino Juice.
This is a cacophony of fruits I don't want in a beer, but let's go with it. Passion fruit, mango, kiwi, orange, and lime. This is a 5.3%, and we've been rotating the aggressiveness out of this beer. It's
an XL, by the way, single X, slushy XL. Important to note, as we've described before.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Bought this from our friends down at Barrel House. Bought 2 of these exactly because they sell a lot of their 450s and singles down there.
Wow. It tastes like...
Oh, been sitting on this one for a while too.
Tastes like
this could be a breakfast beer. It's a little too. I think I want my breakfast beers a little bit more melt. Like Taco Party is. There's a couple. It's right there though. I mean, I would be pleased at 7 o'clock.
Not breakfast beer. It tastes like a mimosa with a little less fizz.
I could crush this. I almost got the wrong hole there.
It actually has a decent amount of fizz.
Oh, sorry, Stacey. Wow.
Yeah, so Dino Juice. I wonder where the name. I wish they'd do more about why they named it that.
Man, they're so prolific that they just got to run out of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they're really naming it based on what's in it.
I had friends that were playing in a baseball or a softball tournament last weekend in Columbus. I'm like, you got to go to 450. You got to go to 450. And of course, they didn't.
Oh, what the fuck?
Right. I was so disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally the #1 recommendation in Columbus, Indiana.
I get the orange and I get the lime.
So these were Columbus in 2 different places: Columbus, Ohio, Columbus, Indiana.
Columbus. I didn't think about that when I'd been sitting on this one for a while, and I wanted to make sure that I got this done. That land grant was for a little bit. I have a bunch of other, but like, I have a lot of singletons I want to do.
Yeah. Well, you can do them.
I wish I had a growler of this. I would, or a crowler even. Like, I'd double that. I would just kill it right now.
Can art boner. We have a little claw mark there. That's Dino Juice can art. That's really all it is. And the black and red, which is representative of Jurassic Park / Jurassic World.
Did you get the Kill Tony? It was one of the more recent ones where he referenced.
Yeah, that was the Trump Biden one, wasn't it?
So good. I love Adam Ray. I love it. I like all the attention that he's getting now I've been listening to him for about last night for a few years, and I like how he was like maybe reference something that's not 30 years old. Like, sorry, Stacey, it was
Yeah,
just
but it wound
amazing.
up being amazing.
It did.
And Shane Gillis, he kind of called it. He was like, "Oh, you guys, you're gonna appreciate this joke," and then it wound up really being great.
Uh,
That was awesome.
was Saturday night, and we don't need to get into why, but do you think Saturday Night Live is disappointed they canceled him, or is this he wouldn't be as big if he didn't have that fire put into his belly by being canceled by Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, well, it's both. He wouldn't be as big as he is now, personally, had he have not been fired by Saturday Night Live. But Saturday Night Live would have benefited more from having him as a cast member because of all of his talents and how funny he is. Now, I will say that I think he's too edgy for them, and it. I think it took him being famous and coming on the show for him to actually like tell jokes in the style he tells them. Whereas if he was a cast member, they'd probably shoot down a lot of his ideas. Because he kind of plays to the like he's a centrist and we can make fun of liberals, we can make fun of conservatives. Whereas if he was a cast member, I don't think they'd let him do that as much.
Yeah, you don't see Kenan Thompson out there like being controversial or whatever. And he's been on.
What's the one Black Jeopardy? That was hilarious. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
It was for those who haven't seen it. Tom Hanks plays a MAGA, supporter, and it's Black Jeopardy. 2 black contestants and Tom Hanks with a MAGA hat, and it's like they agree on everything. It's amazing. It's hilarious. Anyway, lots of noises happening here. There's thunder. Now I got a helicopter. I think that's a care flight, probably.
Yeah, Stacey was telling me it's supposed to like rain all week there.
Yeah, but tomorrow it's supposed to let up, so I think I'm going to go to Great American and catch the Cubs against the Reds. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Great ballpark, by the way.
Great ballpark. Too much to do. I have to say that there's too much to do at Great American. That's not focused on the field, but some people like that. That's kind of the way fields are going now.
I like being able to park and grab a drink on the way to the stadium.
I like being able to park. That's huge. That's huge.
They do a good job down there with that. And
the MLB app allows you to purchase your parking through the app, which I love. I think that's amazing because as a Cubs fan, when you finally experience that, it's almost otherworldly. Because when you buy Cubs tickets, you're like, there's no parking. You have to find your way downtown. But now with the Reds, it's like, whoa, I can buy my parking right now. And then it tells you where to go. It tells you which garage. You get right in. They scan it. Boom, you're in. You're under the stadium. You walk up, you're in. It's so easy. It's awesome.
It's awesome. And then Miller Park even discounts you for parking, like if you buy your tickets in. And I mean, because they have, it's like a football stadium where the parking is right there.
Yeah.
So we tailgate, and
that's how the Sox park is. Yeah.
The nice thing too there is on the weekends they'll even open the parking lot up an hour earlier, so it's five hours before first pitch. Wow. So you can really tie one on. They have to balance that out because if they open it up too, their concessions is going to get killed when you come into the stadium. But if it's too small, then people get angry. So it's finding that sweet spot.
Yep. Agreed. Well, the Reds don't have that because it's all parking garages, but the Bengals have a pretty decent system. I find to be not bad. It's better than the Bears.
People will tailgate in the underground and in the parking garages and everything.
For the Bengals, yeah. For the Bengals, they'll tailgate anywhere. The Bears, that's their biggest problem is you can only tailgate in one parking lot because there is only one parking lot.
Yeah.
And you have to pay extra. Like they fuck you in Chicago so hard. I don't get it. Well, I do get it, but also
our favorite place to park at Lambeau is the curling club. You brought up curling earlier.
Yeah.
It's the curling club, and I think they can fit 45 cars in the curling. The reason we park there is because you can go inside, and they want you to go inside and use the bathroom. and it's a nice, cleaned bathroom, and there's only 45 cars, so but ample room. They don't like park, so you can set up your chairs and your multiple grills, and everyone just moseys around, and it's sometimes it's the same people that you see, and because everyone just knows to go with the curling club.
That's like that place that's across from Great American. I don't know if you've been there. It's like, I think it's the outside of Great American isn't really.
Are you saying the bar?
Recognizable from like a Wrigley is, on the outside, but whatever. I think it's Home Plate. Yeah, there's a bar across the street.
There's the Holy Grail. There's that's right there on the parade of. We always the Yard House is another one.
It might be the Yard House. You go into the bathroom. They want you to go into the bathroom too, and guess what? There's a man in there, and he's gonna spray you with shit, and you got to tip him for spraying you with stuff you didn't want to be sprayed with. And you really have no choice. I did avoid tipping him because someone else was leaving at the same time. He got him, and I went whoop right behind him. And I'm not paying this motherfucker for spraying me with shit. I'm not anti-tip, guys, but don't demand tips and corner me. That's not a tip. That's
he's
a fucking ransom.
He's not demanding tips.
He's demanding tips. He's demanding tips.
He just knows that you're a foot flusher, so he just wants to.
I don't foot flush anymore since you showed me that video. I can respect and learn. That's the thing. Some people can't learn, and some people can't admit that they can change. Some people can change, Matt, and I changed. When you showed me that video, I said, "All right, I'll stop foot flushing."
We can all change.
I'll stop foot flushing, but I will say that in many foreign countries, the flusher is a pedal on the ground. That would make more sense. Why don't we do all of our traditions in the public restrooms are fucking retarded. No offense, I shouldn't say the word, but like the doors not going all the way down to the ground.
I'm with you
that's
there.
An American thing. The flusher being on the back of the toilet, that's an American thing. Either make it automatic or put the flusher on the ground. It makes no sense.
The place that we always go to, I just thought is Moorline. It's the Moorline house down there. That's our haunt.
That's where you go?
They have build your own bloodies that are really good, especially for a morning game.
Okay, that's a good idea. Not a lot of morning games in Cincinnati.
Well, gentlemen's. Well, when we start drinking, it's a morning game. It's the gentlemen's special games.
Okay, yeah.
So like then I'm going to a game here next month, and it's a doubleheader game. So because there was a rain out and a reschedule, and I'm telling like a Reds fan, he's like there's never a noon game on a Friday, and I go, dude, I showed him my ticket. He goes, that's, and then he got back to me a day later, and he goes, oh, they have a doubleheader that day. You should have told me. Like,
should have told him, man.
It's your fucking team. It's your fucking team. He goes, you only go to the gentleman's special games. Yeah, I got a life to get back to, my friend.
You should do the Wrigley tour. They talk all about what the.
I've done the Wrigley tour. I did the Wrigley tour.
You did the Wrigley tour?
Yes, I've ran the bases. I told you about the Ivy. I've done the tour.
You did the tour with like the guy who tells all the stories?
It was a guy from the front office. It wasn't the tour, but it was a guy from the front office that graduated from the same college I did, and he gave us a special tour.
You ran the bases. That's funny.
I did.
There's some really good stories that they talk about the gentleman. You call it the gentleman special. I like that. But the Cubs are traditionally a day game team.
Yeah.
They have more day games than all the other. And the reason, it's because people don't have fucking lives, and they go to day games, and they're called bleacher bums.
But that's what the Reds historically have called it. The Reds have been a team since the 1870s or whatever. So like the noon game they call it the gentleman's special. So they would go work, they would take a half day or whatever, they'd come get a sandwich and a beer and watch the ball game. Gentleman's special.
Gentleman's special.
And that's not my name. That's my forefathers that have taught me a little bit about baseball that are a generation older than me. They call it the gentleman's special.
You're always willing to learn new things about baseball. Love the sport. Great sport. All right, let's talk about this beer. This beer is it has a fizz that I like. It has a very nice carbonation to it. The mango, I think it's there, but it's not off-putting. I find mango to be too overpowering in most beers it's in. But I think the orange is where it's at in this beer. Orange and lime, I think, is what you're gonna get. Passion fruit, meh. Kiwi, maybe. But orange and lime, that's what this beer is really made of. And the fizz, I think that's a really good touch. They do it well. I like it. Tastes like a mimosa. I don't know what to give it. I don't think it's a perfect beer,
It's
but
not.
it's also not a terrible beer. It doesn't even taste like beer, to be honest. It tastes like juice. I wouldn't be surprised if this was non-alcoholic, because that's how straight up not beer like it tastes. The sour ale part doesn't come through at all. Without that fizz, I think this beer is worse. But what this really tastes like to me is orange juice with lime that someone dumps like seltzer into or something, just to give it that fizz, or spritzer or whatever. It is excellent. It is worth drinking. It's phenomenal, and there's nothing to complain about. It's just not the perfect beer. So I give this beer a 4.0, only because I don't see myself yearning for it as a beer.
My problem with all these beers, Taco Party, this beer, whatever, like these that are heavy orange is like the savior of the beer is. I always really get excited, and I always try to pitch them to like my mother-in-law and to my wife that like drinking mimosas. I'm much more of a bloody drinker. You can be both, because Stacy likes both, but I find outside, like, people have a strong preference one way or the other. And I always get so excited because I'm like, oh, this is something that you'd be able to drink that would satiate that fizzy bubbly orange juice like goodness, that life effervescence that kind of lifts you into your day. This
Like
is very
that.
close. The orange and lime are married very well. I don't know which one of the I think it's more the kiwi. I don't know which one of the other three is the spoiler to the party. And what I mean to that is it just retards the enjoyment that I'm getting from the orange and the lime. It just slows it down and it pulls it back a little bit. It pulls back on the throttle a little bit, because it's like, hey, we're going to Pleasure Town. We're like right up there with Taco Party, and then all of a sudden something else pulls back, and it's one of those three fruits. I'm
Gotta
not
be the
very good.
passion fruit.
I'm not very good at the rest of the three fruits. I don't think it's the kiwi, but
No,
that's
I
just
don't think so either.
But it just pulls you out of like this bliss, like you're floating through the clouds, and all of a sudden, like there's just going to be a little sprinkle of rain on your party. It's so close to being in that upper pantheon of 450 beers. It's just that one fruit. If you could eliminate it, you're right there. You're right there with Taco Party. Off the top rope, I give it a 4 or 5. I'd buy this again because it's so close. I'm learning my lesson though on suggesting beers to people, because I find in life now I have to stop projecting on all of this. I know that I'm going to offer it, but I just hope that I find that opportunity, that I bridge that gap for somebody that's not identified as a beer drinker or not a sour drinker. And I'd be like, hey, look, it's not, I drink a lot of goofy shit, but this is like something you could enjoy too. I'm close.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I'm close, but there's been a couple of ones where I'm like, oh, this is going to be a home run. And like, bitter beer face, like, that's when I know I'm too close to the source material.
Yep. I've felt that as well. I also think that 450's been doing this now for a while. And so, like you said, maybe eliminate one of these fruits. I guarantee you they have a beer already that excludes one of these fruits, or maybe two of them. And this is just another variant of it. It's going to be interesting to see how they innovate over time, because I'm not getting sick of 450. But I think that the combinations of these flavors, they're just not inspiring anymore. Some of them are awesome, like Taco Party.
I think Pat isn't carrying them as much anymore, but Barrel House is carrying them all in singles. They had nine. They had 9 different. When I was down there, they had 9 different variants.
Wow. Well, it's good. It's smart to do it in singles.
Oh, right, because there's a lot of people that aren't like us,
I don't
and
need 4. I just want 1.
and that's the thing. I would rather, because if I find something I enjoy, and there's been misses, believe me, but
Yeah.
I can give them to people when they come over. So, sorry, Stacey. It's like I bought 20 cans of Taco Party last year. Like I have
Yeah.
one left. Like,
Damn.
and I would buy it again.
Yeah.
$10 a can. I don't care. Like, it's just one of those, like,
That good.
yeah, right. Exactly. When you find something that, Berliner Weiss, the peach tea,
Yep.
you find something like that, you'll pay whatever.
Yep. That's what I did.
Write down
Yeah,
scores.
I mean that's it. That's 4.0, 4.5. That's pretty good, but it's probably pretty low for on average for a 450 beer. We're usually higher.
Our last 450. Oh, that was, you didn't do that one. That's Popsicle Rocket. I gave it a 4.75. What's the last one we both did? It's been a while. Oh,
Yeah, it's
Slushy
probably the
Things.
IPA.
Slushy Things was March. You were a 4.25. I was a 5.
Wow, we're pretty far from each other on that one.
And it's been a while. Like,
yeah.
Spider vs. Goliath. That was another one you didn't. That was November. That was a road beer. Taco Party, obviously, are both 5s.
Yep.
And that was October of last year. Jeez, Louise.
Wow, yeah.
And that was a 5.3. This lends me, okay, so this is a 5.3 also. I'm wondering if they just have like a base beer and they like change it up a little bit. Because Spider vs. Goliath was 5.2. Anyways, Slushy Things was a 5.0. I mean,
smart. You're doing analysis right now. Look at you.
Something right there. Yeah, I better stop before.
You better stop.
Before the wheels fall off.
You might get hired by somebody to do their business analysis.
Nope. 0. Nope. Make good product.
Yeah.
I keep burping chili. I brought homemade chili, so I brought my own crock pot in the.
Oh, nice. That's
in my own. Yep. So I was making.
Yeah, I've been
I brought some
avoiding buying 450 just because I know we do it a lot. Try to buy newer stuff we don't have as often, but sometimes you can't avoid it because it looks so good.
I want to dilute it, but so since October of last year, like the solo episodes, I've done it a couple of times, but we've only done one together since October of last year, since Taco Party. So maybe I thought it was a lot more.
Yeah, me too. But I guess not. Maybe it's because I see it in my fridge a lot.
Oh yeah. I purposely put, like, this one was sitting in the back because I've had people over, and like this can, you see this can, you're like, oh yeah, like I'm going. So I'll purposely, and people know to not reach. If it's on the back wall of the fridge, you don't need to touch it.
That's right. Don't go on the back wall. That's the G spot of the beer.
It's the G spot. or if you do, or I'll tell people, and you've done the same thing. You can have it. Don't tell me what you think about it, because this is serious.
Oh yeah, this is serious. This podcast is serious. We take it very seriously with the scores. Not enough people come over to my house to drink all my beer, but I'm going to change that. I want to redo the floors in the carriage house, and then I think I'm going to start having more people over on a regular basis.
The floor, you can't. The carriage house is perfect as is. You got a bathroom right there.
I need to sand and like put some poly whatever on the floors.
Is there enough to sand? Do you know, like, there's enough? You're not gonna. There's enough depth on the wood, because it is hard.
There's enough depth. Yeah.
Okay.
How much depth do you need?
That's where you have to have like a professional. Friend just bought a house and they found out that it's been refinished too many times. They'd have to replace the wood.
You know what? Maybe I'll just put that. I don't know. There's some parts that need to be sanded, but maybe I'll just put that clear coat over it. What do they call that? Poly something? Polyurethane. And then the bathroom, obviously, you've seen it. It's totally unfinished, so I'll just stain that.
Yeah. You could take the wood from the bowling alley. Bowling alleys are like 12 inches thick.
Oh, no shit.
I have friends. So when bowling alley gets ripped out, they make butcher block out of it, and they can make So a buddy of mine up here has got butcher block countertops, and they're awesome, and they came from a bowling alley.
Damn, I should get some bowling alley wood.
And they planed it all down. Oh, it looks super sharp.
Yeah, I want to do that. Well, I got a lot of work to do in here, but I could still invite some people over.
Invite them over to do the work.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Hey guys, come have some beer and
you've got the fridge. Oh yeah,
sand and stain. Be great. Then we're all done. We'll be drunk and high on polyurethane fumes. Perfect.
Hey guys, want to get high?
It's the perfect combo. You hear that?
Oh, is that the wow?
That's thunder, yeah.
Stacy and my dog are not having a good time.
That's the thunder, as the Imagine Dragons say. That's the thunder.
Radioactive.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know we're busy guys. But you got any other topics you want to discuss today?
Keep watching the Olympics. Again, support the greatest country on this planet Earth and in the entire solar system. I'm willing to say that.
I'm willing to say that as well. America is great. Support them. We're the best. Even if we don't win the gold medal, we're still the best. It's all a scam. America should win all the gold medals. But they can't, because then it'll look rigged. Support the Olympics.
Yeah, right. We're benevolent and charitable.
Yes, and watch Deadpool. It's a great movie.
Can't wait. I'm super excited.
Awesome. That's it.
That's it.
That's episode 289. Thanks for joining us. And the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a couple solos for you, but that doesn't mean you should skip them.
Listen to them twice, one for each of us.
Listen to them twice. They're going to be great. I'm setting the expectations high. All right. Bye, everyone.